Thank you, Brendan. Now happening today, hundreds of Duluthians will head to the polls as doors open in less than an hour.
From city council to school board races, Duluthians have a few things to look out for.
In Northern News Now's Hannah Morgan joins us live in Duluth at one of the many polling places out there in this city. Hannah, what can Duluth expect on their ballots today?
Sydney, Madison, good morning. So I'm here at St. Michael's Church in Duluth, where people will be lining up to vote in just under 30 minutes. And as you can see behind me, people are already here in the parking lot as they prepare for Election Day. And Duluthians have a few things on their ballot this year as they have city council, school board, and the right to repair ordinance. So let's take a look at that ballot. So 2 at-large seats on the council are up for grabs, and these are your 4 candidates for Duluth City Council today. Therese Tominick is the current city council president and is running for another term. She served on the council for 5 years, working to bring affordable housing and lead pipe replacement to the city. Candidate Derek Medved is a West Duluth business owner and current commissioner of the Duluth Public Utilities Commission. Candidate Jordan Johnson running for his first term on council. He has a background in education and social work. And the 4th candidate running is Asher Estrun Hare, who is also a business owner in Duluth. 4 candidates are also vying for an at-large seat on the Duluth School Board in today's city election. Incumbent Amber Sadowski is the current treasurer of Duluth School District. Kelly Durek-Eder is the current school board chair. Harry Welty is a former teacher and served on Duluth's school board back in 2004. And Lauren Mortel has run to serve on Duluth school board in years prior, but has not yet succeeded. And lastly, Duluthians get to vote on the right to repair ordinance. And if a majority vote yes on question 1, renters would be allowed to pay for certain repairs and deduct the cost from landlords. This would allow renters to fix small maintenance problems on their own if their landlords don't respond to the request within 2 weeks. The tenants would be reimbursed up to $500. And the right to repair was added to the ballot after receiving 6,000 signatures, although a majority of city council members voted against it last July. And most polls open today at 7 o'clock, which is just under 30 minutes, and they close at 8 o'clock tonight. But if you are in line by 8 o'clock, you can still vote. Reporting live in Duluth, I'm Hannah Morgan, Northern News Now.